What are we doing? All right, everybody, welcome back. All right. Listen, most investors think more money solves their problems, but that's backwards. Today, I've got my good friend Jen Way here, and she is flipping the script. She's coaching real estate investors on how to triple their profits without spending a dollar more, just by changing how they talk to sellers and buyers. No ads, no gimmicks, just the savage truth. Give leads permission to walk out, call out objections before they show up, and dig deep for the real why behind every single deal. She's helped closers stop wasting time and start closing better. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Closers Club. Jen, welcome today. So excited to have you on.
No, thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here on a Monday. Let's get this week going right.
It's a Monday, it's a holiday week, but real investors are here making it happen. So let's talk about things. Tell me about what you've got cooking here, and let's get right into it.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. Wanted to come by and just give everybody 3 super easy things that they can do during their conversations that are going to just disarm, your leads from having objections, give them the ability to be honest, speak the truth, really connect with you, and as a result, tends to work out to about triple the profit because you're going to get more people to say yes, and you're going to get better prices out of them when they do say yes.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, there's so much that happens when you get on the phone, and I think it's important for people to get some good coaching because our natural instinct is we get a little bit nervous, and we might freeze up and say the wrong things, or just try to get off the phone too quick without getting the deal. And getting the deal is more than just getting them to sign. It's that we're all here to help these sellers and solve a problem. So when you say give leads permission to say no, like, talk about that. What does that actually mean?
It's incredible, but the most feared word on a sales call is the word no.
Really? Yeah.
So how about we say it first?
Well, everybody's afraid of rejection, so I understand that.
Exactly. And when you're on the phone with a lead or a buyer or whoever it might be, right? They're afraid to say no because they know you're a salesperson and you're pitching them, right? So how about if we say no first? As specifically, we tell them that it's okay to tell us no. Here's what I think, right?
Okay.
So every single person you hop on the phone with has that brick wall, right? Yeah. Sales resistance.
Sure.
Bunch of salespeople think they're the Kool-Aid man and they're just going to blast right through it, right?
Sure.
My age might be showing with that reference there,
That's
but
okay. That's okay.
You're not going to.
Yeah.
The best way is to have the seller pull those bricks one by one down from their side, right? You do that very quickly by giving them really just the truth. Hey, I'm here to try and help you. I have some things I might be able to do. If that works for you, great. I'm your girl. And if not, tell me no.
Right. So what are there some specific like sentences or phrases where you're just like, hey, if this isn't going to be good for if this isn't, I don't even know you're the expert, how to say it, but I'm going to talk to you. If it isn't good, just tell me no. Like, please tell me no. Was that kind of what you're shooting for?
Yes, I've got a couple of different variations, right? So let's talk about the person who's just looking for a price really, really fast, right? I'm gonna come out quicker with it. Hey, Mr. Seller, listen, I'm a real estate investor, right? I buy a lot of properties.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the right buyer for every single person who wants to sell their property. So what I'd like to do is talk about it. If I'm going to be the right fit for you, if the things that I can do, like close fast and cover the closing costs and not deal with all those, if those things mean something to you, great. Let's talk about how we get this done. And if not, tell me no. I say it directly.
Really? So more of like, would that be considered the pull away close, or is that what that is?
No,
Oh, okay.
I think it's just kicking it old school.
Okay.
Honestly, I think it's just like kind of a, setting the rules of engagement in a
Mhm.
positive way.
Yeah.
We're here to have a conversation. If
Yeah.
that's what you want, great. If not, tell me no. I think it's really just creating space for honesty.
Okay. All right. Because I guess the flip side of that would be the seller doesn't want to tell you no, and they're embarrassed, and they just sort of string you along. And now you think you've got a deal, but you really don't, because they're just willing to say anything to get you off the phone. And then shocking, they never pick up when you call them back.
Or worse, they know that they can just tell you they have a husband or wife they need to talk to, or they can tell you that they need to think about it, or they can tell you that they'll call you back. Don't call me, right? Or worse, they leave you in maybe land.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the worst place to be with a lead.
100%. I get that. So when you say front load objections, like what does that mean? I've never heard it phrased that way. Tell me what you're talking about there.
When we address the things that we know are objections, and in real estate, we have 4 automatic objections. Okay.
Okay.
We want to get 3 of them out of the way before we ever try to close. Because if we don't, they're just going to use them as a reason not to tell us yes or no.
Okay.
Right?
What are those 3?
So, number 1, timeline.
Ah, okay.
Right? Are they actually interested in doing this right now?
Mm-hmm.
Is there motivation to that? Does that matter at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there something else that needs to be done before they do it? We have to figure that out. We need to know. Right.
So is that as simple as, hey, Mrs. Smith, literally what's your timeline to sell, or how quickly do you need to sell?
Yes. So I'm gonna touch on the why first before I hit this timeline, because I would really like to understand what that is, right? Which is the 3rd tip of today. But
Okay.
it's kind of the follow-up to it. Okay, and how quickly did you need that done? Is it yesterday, or does it matter not at all?
I gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Just really figure out, does it mean anything at all? Right? Are they actually ready to do this? Because a lead is somebody who's ready, willing, and able right now. So timeline.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most important ones, right? We know it's going to come up. Address it first.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, decision makers.
Oh yeah, we say that to our sales team.
I say it to people I'm afraid to tell no to. I do it all the time. I gotta call Chris.
Yeah.
So I like to ask that in a kind of little bit of a pivot. I don't go right at decision makers. Mr. Seller, is there somebody else, family, friend, spouse, priest, lawyer? Is there somebody else you're going to talk to about selling this property before you decide to go ahead and sell it to me? We're doing 2 things with that one. We're addressing whether or not there's somebody else involved, and we're also assuming the sale in the exact same sentence.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Before you sell it to me.
Before you sell it to me. Love it.
In the event that there's another person that needs to be spoken to, it is a hard stop on this call for me.
Yeah.
I really want both the people, right? If it's a husband and wife, I would like to reschedule and I can get them both. I'll be so bold to say, is she home right now?
But Jen, that is so hard for even experienced investors. You feel like you've got the person on the hook. You finally got somebody to answer your call, right? Whether you're cold calling or whatever it is. And somebody wants to talk to you, and then you have to pull away because they don't have both people on the call. I know you have a lot of students, like, how do you get them through that? Like, I feel like that's some emotional therapy coaching there.
Most of the time, they are going to go ahead and put their head down like a bull, right? And they're going to try to truck through it. And then all I have to do is ask them how it went.
Right.
All I have to do is say, so what'd they tell you when you dropped your price? They need to talk to their wife. Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is like one of those ones where we really learn by making the mistake mostly. Yeah. But here's my challenge, right? What's the worst thing people are going to do? Tell you no?
Yeah, that's it.
That's the worst thing that's going to happen?
I know, but I'm telling you, rejection's a powerful thing. We all grow up, being afraid of rejection from parents or teachers or, loved ones or whatever, girls you like in high school, right? Nobody wants rejection.
But the problem in sales is that every single one of those no's is actually getting you closer to a yes.
I love that too. And you mentioned that at the very beginning. So many, I've heard sales trainers, go for no, just literally just collect as many no's as you can. But I've always thought, does that work? Have you seen that work? Or does it just teach your team to just kind of burn through leads too quick without, putting in the time and energy for that they deserve?
I like to encourage people to understand that when you hop on the phone, it's not about getting a yes or getting a no. It's about
Yeah.
getting a yes or no. I
Mhm.
need one or the other,
Yeah.
right? So I need to take this call where it needs to be so that I end in one or the other.
Gotcha.
I can't just try for yes, and I can't
Mhm.
just try for no. I need to actually listen to these people talking. I need to
Yeah.
ask the right questions, and I need to go for yes if it's available.
Right.
If not, then I need to go for no. You got to be
Right.
one or the other, right? We need to have a solid answer. We need to
Yeah.
not be living in Maybeland. That's
Yeah.
the point.
I think that's how people can tell you've made thousands and thousands and tens of probably thousands of calls. And it is a little bit more complicated than just go for no, right? I think there's a little bit more to it.
Absolutely. You have to know when it's appropriate,
Hmm.
right? You're not going to be able to use the exact same tactics on every single person at the exact same, in the exact same order.
Right.
It's about listening to what they're saying and
Hmm.
then taking the conversation where it needs to go
Hmm.
when it needs to go there. Not,
Yeah.
and you're going to hear me say this too, right? No scripts. Ditch
Oh,
that script. It is keeping you in a box.
yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that when, I felt that way when I was early on trying to, I get the script. It's a little bit of a safety blanket so that you know what the next thing to say is. But I've always preferred more of like a call flow, hey, these are the things that we want to kind of do in some order. And if I miss one, I can come back to it, and it's not just not quite so rigid. It makes me feel like a real person who actually cares about the seller, which you should.
And I'm going to make a prediction right now. I think that AI is driving our leads to want us to be even more human.
Oh, I would agree with you. I think everything is a pendulum that swings back and forth, and AI leads are going to be hot for a little bit, but I think in general, like humanity, we are going to all of a sudden go back and crave human interaction. Like I think it will have its place for a little while, then and the pendulum will settle in the middle someplace again. But I don't think it's going to permanently, do away with all salespeople or anything like that. Maybe. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like there's extremes and it goes from one side to the other, and then hopefully comes back into the middle.
Yeah, I've heard from some pretty big companies that they're undoing
Yeah,
all of the AI sales platforms that they jumped
really.
into 6 months. They're undoing it now
Yeah.
because the numbers are not showing.
Yeah, and I don't think it's there yet, as they say.
Yeah,
I've listened to a few, and there are some that are there's some training platforms. Steve Trang has one that's really good. But as far as like an AI salesperson that can buy a house and work through all of the empathy and the problems and all of that. Man, I just don't think we're there yet. I don't think AI replaces all realtors. I don't see that as a
yeah, no
thing.
way.
It's certainly not going to replace title. That's, at best 30 years away. So, yeah, I definitely think there's an opportunity to lean into our HI, right? Our human intelligence
Yes,
while everybody else is going the other way.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Hey, and
Did we
listen, before we get too far away,
Yes.
third objection that
Heard
we
that. I
need
was just
to
about to ask.
David, I love talking to you so much, man. I feel like we could just talk all day. But third one, right fit. This is eliminating the I have to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this actually what they want? Right? Is their house brand new and in great condition and they just bought it 2 years ago?
Hmm.
Are you the right fit for them?
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? Did somebody just take out a whole construction loan for that piece of vacant land?
Right.
We might not be the right fit,
True.
right? There are just some people we're not the right fit for. We cannot push square pegs through
Mhm.
round holes. And I
Right.
wish everybody would stop because not every single person that calls the office is a
Mhm.
lead.
So maybe this goes into, the third part here, which is diagnosing the why. But do a lot of these things, are they, what we try to get the answers for in like that first part of the call, the more exploratory part, like, hey, Mrs. Smith, calling you back, or, wherever you got this lead from, and, telling them a little bit about what we do. Hey, here's what I do. I may not be the right fit for you. Tell me a little bit about your situation. This may not be the right type of deal for me, but I don't know. I mean, how do you approach that?
Yes, most of this is all on the front end. All right. If you're, I guess the easiest way to explain it would be like, if you're a 2-call investor, we do a discovery. Then we get off the phone. We reschedule for an actual offer call. This is all happening on the first phone call, hands down.
Gotcha.
No questions asked. You need all of this information. Diagnosing the why could potentially be the single most important thing that you're doing while you're on the phone with these people.
Yeah.
For me,
go ahead.
Well, for me, it's because it's a strategic piece of information. It's the problem that I'm the solution for, because there ain't nobody knocking on my door for my prices.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
Nobody is like, Jen, your price is so great, I have to take your deal. That's not happening on the front end.
No, we're solving a problem. Nobody loves our price, but they do love the things that come with our price, which is generally speed and convenience and solving problems.
So if I know it, I can talk about it during my close next to my price.
Right.
And actually connect the solution to the check.
Right.
So they understand. And that's how you close more deals, by presenting yourself as a solution and a paycheck.
Yeah.
Not just a paycheck.
Agreed. I think so many people rush through the first part of that call because I need all of that information to take, so that when I get to the close, hey, Mrs. Smith, geez, I know you got a great house there, but I know you really need to sell quick because you need to move to Phoenix because your cat has psoriasis, right? Whatever it is,
Exactly.
I'm linking that pain to the solution, or me solving that pain to the solution.
Absolutely. And diagnose the why means you're a doctor.
Right.
These people have showed up with symptoms. I'm not the first person to say this out loud, but it's the best analogy.
Right.
They show up with symptoms. It's your job to diagnose and figure out what the underlying problem is.
Yeah.
And you are the medicine. You are the solution.
Nice. All right. Well, Jen, tell me this. Where did you get all this knowledge? You've been doing this for, I know, but tell everybody, like, how did you get good at this? Like, why is it that, you have all of these answers? What's your background a little bit?
Trial by fire. That's why I worked a whole bunch of jobs where I was commission only, AKA you don't sell anything. Right. You don't make any money.
Right.
Best way to learn, right? Jump in the deep end. I have worked at a lot of different sales positions, not just real estate. It's all been exactly the same at the end of the day. This is a people business. People want to work with people they like and that they trust, and they're going to solve their problems. That's it. Nice. I've just been doing it so long, I figured out what doesn't work. These are the things that do.
Process of elimination. And, and I say that to people a lot. You've got to get in the batter's box. You just have to take a lot of swings. And over time, you just start to see the pitches coming in a little bit slower. And, those nerves are gone. And, now you're starting to get those base hits and doubles, and every so often a home run, and then the grand slam. And then just the more you do this, the more success that you have.
Absolutely.
So what, there's that, right? I can get in the batter's box and just take a bunch of fastballs to the face, but coaching, right? Coaching or getting into, mentorship mastermind groups is far better. It can really accelerate the learning curve, right? Would you agree?
1,000%. I wish there had been somebody available that I could have paid to teach me back then. It wouldn't have taken me years to get there.
Yeah. So cool. So I know you got something coming up. I think we were chatting about it last week, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on. So you have an opportunity coming up where I don't think for a ton of people, but for a few, I think you said you might have like a couple of spots left, but you're starting a 12-week program next week?
Yes, next week of July 7th. It's a 12-week boot camp. And yes, I unfortunately had a couple of gentlemen decide that it wasn't going to be the right time. So they're going to enroll in a future one. But there are a couple seats left in my boot camp. It's a no script sales boot camp. We talk about the things we just went over, plus a bunch more. More importantly, we're going to actually practice them. All right. You're going to learn how to do it, not just read a bunch of PDFs or watch videos, and you're going to learn it from me live every single week. So we meet every single week. It comes paired with one-on-one time with me as well.
Yeah.
On average, my students are tripling their profits because more people say yes. But most importantly, they're getting the right prices.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't. Also, guys, for all of you who are watching YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all those, I just dropped a link to Jen's Facebook group there, so you can click on that. But yeah, it does not do us any good. And this is one thing that I see so much with investors, where they just agree with the seller. Okay, they get nervous, and the seller wants 200,000, and they know you should offer 150, but they just say okay because they just want the contract so bad. And I get that. I understand. Believe me, I do. We spend so much time and energy, and we just want that deal so badly. But what are the dangers of tying up somebody at the wrong price? Like it's a cavalcade of problems, right? Talk about that some.
I mean, it's a huge waste of your own time.
Yeah.
Is what it is, right? Like I said, square pegs, round holes.
Yeah.
You're not going to sell deals that aren't at the right price. And if it's at the right price, you're going to sell the deal. Like that's how easy that is, guys.
Yeah.
So if you've locked something up for the wrong price and it didn't sell, I think I know why.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the number one mistake. We want to just be people pleasers. We want to just be agreeable. We just want to give everybody else what they want. You need to get what you want.
Right.
Learn how to communicate so that both sides win, not just your sellers.
Yep. And then even beyond that, our job as investors, we're here to make things better. Sellers are reaching out to us at 2 a.m. They're filling out that PPC lead, or, form, whatever it is, because they need help. So if we, fail and we don't do a good job and, offer a price that makes sense, we're not trying to take advantage of people. We are trying to give them a number that will work. If I don't do that, if your student doesn't do that, if anybody out there doesn't do that, you're creating a bad situation, because now that seller thinks that you've solved their problem. And the reality is you're not going to be able to get that deal closed. And then you're going to have to go back to this person who has spent 3 weeks packing their house, or thinking that they're moving to Phoenix to get their cat there for psoriasis. And now you've broken their dreams, right? And this is why investors have a bad name.
The best way to serve our clients is to be honest.
100%. I agree with that. Cool. Jen, thank you so much for coming on. For all of you who are listening, you can see that Jen is absolutely a master at sales. No, not only talking to people about acquisitions, meaning sellers, but also, we didn't get into this too much. Maybe next time we will, but talking to buyers, because that's what I really love. And that's what my specialty is. So 12-week class, absolutely amazing. You're going to meet once a week, or how often are they going to meet with you?
Twice a week. We meet for an hour every week as a group. Like you said earlier, very small class, 5 maximum. The rooms are not so big that you don't get to talk. I want to make sure that we all are interacting with each other. And then an additional hour every single week is a one-on-one with actually just me.
Nice. So guys, that is a lot of time directly with somebody who is going to get into your business, coach you, probably do some role playing back and forth, and make sure that you are being successful. Because listen, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get the same results. So my suggestion, what worked for me, was plug in with a great coach that can really just catapult you forward and get you to where you are getting those contracts, getting them sold, helping sellers, and making a bunch of money, and doing all the things that we got into real estate to do. Jen, thank you so much for jumping on. I really appreciate it.